we can get started then for now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's delegate call. I have just shared the agenda thread in the chat, so you can follow along there. Otherwise, I'll be sharing it on my screen as well. There weren't a ton of requests from y'all for this call today, but I had a few things that I thought would be cool to discuss on the call today, and also highlight. So yeah, that most of them are just pretty quick FYI sort of updates, but we do have I'll have Rafa present his really cool CappedMinter V2. He posted about it on the forum a few days ago or sometime last week. So we'll spend some time talking about that today too. So just to dive in, first and foremost, there are quite a few active proposals right now. Proposals on chain that are voting window is open. We have Gap 1, Zip 4, Gap 2, and in 1 hour, approximately the TPP2, so the Aave air claim drop proposal will also be live. If you have not voted yet, tonight would be the night, or today would be the day to kill 4 birds in one go. So yeah, those, just wanted to call those out. 2 of them have already met quorum, as you see here, Gap 1 and Zip 4. And Gap 2, as Rafa also pointed it out in the chat, that it's about 10 million away, less than 10 million away from meeting quorum there. So yeah, just wanted to give those a quick shout out, since they're live on the forum right now. It's crazy to see so many all at once at the same time, but it's also exciting to see governance ramping up like that as well. So the next piece I wanted to call out, many of you were already there, or many of you joined this call last week, just the start of these new standing proposal review calls. So these are alternating with these standing delegate calls. If you weren't on the call last week, we had a lot of really great presentations from proposal authors of all of the current on-chain proposals, and then a few of the kind of developing proposals that are on the forum right now. So I would definitely recommend taking a look at that recording. It's on the ZK Nation YouTube channel. And there's like a call thread for it as well, just as there are for delegate calls. These calls, the standing proposal review calls, will allow for a little bit more time to discuss active proposals, where these delegate calls will remain a time and space for delegates to discuss other topics or tools or resources or other helpful things as well for the ZKsync delegate community. Yeah, so just wanted to point that out. These calls are also in the delegate call calendar. Again, if you're not subscribed, please go subscribe. It's also linked in this post here. You can subscribe right there. So next on the agenda, just wanted to call this out as well. An upcoming call, which is happening tomorrow regarding the Catalyst proposal draft that's hit the forum a few days ago. The proposal authors will be hosting their own 1 hour long extended session proposal review call. So given that the full proposal draft is now on the forum, and there's already been quite a bit of response and interaction on the forum as well, they wanted to host their own call that will be happening tomorrow so Wednesday, January 22nd at 5:30 p.m. CET or 11 a.m. ET. This is also in the delegate call calendar as well, so you can find the call details there. They also, yeah, if you have any questions or things you want to bring up on the call, be sure to go take a look at the forum post, so the authors can prepare to answer those for the call tomorrow. Great. Okay, so the next piece, or like the kind of, I guess, probably biggest piece, is to discuss the CappedMinter V2. That Rafa had posted this on the forum last week. No, 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And yeah, I wanted to just spend a little time talking about this because it has some pretty cool implications for TPP development going forward, or like token mechanic development going forward. And we wanted to yeah, just give a quick overview and provide maybe some examples of what this could look like in token program or token mechanic development. Rafa, do you want to take it away?
Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining. So CappedMinter V2. So something that most people may know, or maybe you're watching a recording of this and aren't aware, is that the token governor at ZKsync doesn't manage a pool of tokens and transfer tokens based on proposals to governance. Instead, it has access to assign minting rights to the token itself. So what this means is when you submit a proposal, you don't actually transfer 100 tokens from from the DAO, quote unquote, or the token assembly to a specific multi-sig, and that multi-sig or contract manages those tokens. What you actually do is you're requesting the minter role from the token contract. As an intermediary step, obviously, we don't want to provide the minter role for an unlimited amount of tokens. So what you do is we create something that's called a CappedMinter. And this CappedMinter basically has a cap on it. Oh yeah, Shelby, I was going to present right now, but yeah, you got the slides. So the first version of the CappedMinter was very simple. It had a cap and it had a multi-sig or smart contract or EOA, which is assigned admin or minter rights. That way, when a token program proposal passes or is submitted, what you're requesting is granting a minter role or maybe removing a minter role. Now, this is how Ignite works, right? You have a variety of different CappedMinters, and those CappedMinters aren't used unless like a new season starts or whatnot, and there's like a DeFi steering committee, which is SteerCo, which is overseeing it. Now, what's really cool about this is you can the multi-sig doesn't actually hold any tokens. There's no treasury, and there's no part of the treasury which is distributed to a program. Again, you have minter rights. But this does present some challenges that we found out when we started this process. One of which was you can't really assign multiple minters. You can only assign one. So when you pass a token program proposal, you say, Rafa can mint 100 ZK tokens. Okay, cool. And then I can mint them to any recipient that I want. But maybe I want Michael or Aave or Cap to be able to have some tokens as part of the program administration or development process. And right now I have to hit mint and send it to them. But what if instead I wanted to create a CappedMinter for them? And I wanted to say, okay, here's your CappedMinter. You can mint them whenever you want. The reason why this is really powerful is, again, because the tokens don't exist. What we want is the end person to be able to decide when they want to create the tokens, instead of having a different person have to send you tokens at a specific point in time. So what we've done is a series of different improvements, the first of which is splitting the admin role from the minter role. So now me as an admin, I can assign multiple minters to this specific CappedMinter. But again, similar to how we don't want an infinite amount, maybe I want Michael to only be able to mint 10 tokens, and I want Dennison to be able to mint 10, then what I want to do is I want to allow other CappedMinters to be able to be the minters of this one. So you can create a nested approach to CappedMinters. And this is really powerful because now you can connect individual nested, or what we call child CappedMinters that are interrelated to each other, sub-programs. So what you're doing is you're doing a hierarchical distribution of minter rights instead of token streams directly. And this is where the CappedMinter V2 really shines. We split up the admin and the minter role, and as a result of that, we've been able to create a parent CappedMinter for a specific TPP or token proposal. That means we only assign the minter right once. No more list of 15 individual CappedMinters that we need to check all the parameters for. We only need to make sure that the parent CappedMinter is configured correctly. And now the program has control over how they want to create subprograms. You can also burn the admin rights. So you can create a CappedMinter which doesn't have an admin, but potentially has minters. And what this allows you to do then is to create a program minter with specific terms, but that is immutable. So there's a lot of different ways that you can create flexibility here. There's a variety of other ways that you can do this. And if we move to the next slide, I just want to give an example here, is that you have a top CappedMinter, right? And maybe that CappedMinter is connected to a distribution CappedMinter, and there's multiple recipients. As long as the contracts can call the mint function directly, you no longer have to deal with token transfers. And that means that you can connect a distributor directly to call mint from a specific CappedMinter. And as long as the CappedMinter has provided you access to be a minter on that contract, it means that tokens are minted directly to the contract which is distributed them, which is super cool. In this case, you could have a service provider CappedMinter. Let's say for Catalyst, there might be a service provider CappedMinter for Areta, the author of the proposal, and a different one for Factory DAO. And those may be connected to streams. You might even be able to create a sub-CappedMinter. So if Areta controls the CappedMinter for certain program administration, they can give a CappedMinter to an individual developer for a specific piece of work. This means, again, you're not transferring tokens. What you're doing is you're granting rights. So you're creating a treasury-less and a transfer-less system of value value transfer, which is really exciting. There's a variety of other different features that are included in this post. Some of them include start and expiration dates. There's a pauser role. So a program can have a specific multisig which is in charge of the administration of the program, but can also have a veto council that can pause the program, and you can provide them that power. You can also have, the admin also has the power to cancel the entire CappedMinter immutably. So at the end of a program, there could be supply left. So what do? You can cancel the CappedMinter, therefore verifiably proving that the supply will not be used in the future by any sort of admin. We can also add metadata URI, and also all the events for the CappedMinter are emitted on chain. So any external party can actually monitor what minter roles are provided to who and how they're actually minted. Again, this creating a significant amount of transparency and accountability on how ZK tokens are allocated and where they end up. Question, how do we enforce that the nested CappedMinters respect their share of the parent cap? So because the children CappedMinters are individually created, the parent cap has to approve those mints, and you can't change the cap. So if you have a parent cap of 100, and then you approve 2 individual CappedMinters for 50 and 50 each, then they can't change the cap, so it's 50-50. But kind of cool about this is you can create race conditions. I can create 4 subprograms with 50 each under 1 CappedMinter of 100. And you can create a competition for subprograms to actually distribute it, or maybe there's some on-chain metrics that they follow that they only distribute if specific on-chain metrics are achieved. So you have a race to be able to mint, which is quite exciting. So I'll pause here. Any questions? Okay, looks like I did a good job explaining it. This really changes a little bit in terms of how we think about token programs, but in general, the theme is the same. we're a fan of token mechanics. So we want to be able to create ways to really experiment with token mechanics. One thing to note in general, and I can't stress this enough, if you get a CappedMinter, how many tokens do you have? 0. This is really important for businesses because let's say Tally creates a book of service for a specific program, for the staking program, and you get a CappedMinter. How many tokens were transferred to Tally at that exact moment? 0. So Tally can choose when it's best appropriate for them to mint the tokens, at what amount, over what period of time.
Yeah, so this is, thank you, Rafa, for providing the overview of the CappedMinter V2. I feel like most of you on this call have heard us at least talk about CappedMinters or preach about how cool they are in the past. I hope that this is starting to become a little bit clear, especially with this newest version that has a lot more customization, a lot more functionality built into it. This is when we really get to start playing with some of these things. So yeah, we're also working, we will work on, or we're in the process of identifying ways we can update the docs. They can be better, especially with all of the new resources and kind of context that we've been able to clarify over the last few months since we've launched governance. So we'll be sure to add things like this, like the CappedMinter information. We'll also work on the diagrams because the ones you saw today were kind of last minute, put together last minute. So we'll work on improving the documentation and creating more resources for these pieces as well, hopefully, so that you guys can, or that anybody can kind of like come in, read something or see something and, you know, be excited about it right away, rather than us, Rafa and I, having to explain it on calls over and over again. That's the goal. Okay, cool. Then if there's no questions or comments on the CappedMinter V2, another thing I will mention, because it was posted in the thread, another cool tool developed by Techie, who's not on this call today. He's at a cute little ETH meetup. I can't remember in what city, but he agreed to talk about it or present it on the next call. He created basically like a ZKMinter interface. I don't know if you folks have like seen this yet. He had responded to Rafa's post on the ZK CappedMinter V2 with this, which is super cool. I won't like try to do it justice of presenting it, but I just wanted to mention it if anybody wanted to go take a look at it. And yeah, Techie will give a little presentation on it in the next delegate call. Yeah, okay, so the last, there's a few last little things. One is I have started joining the ZKsync community calls that take place on Discord. They are run and moderated by some community mods, some really great community mods, and they try to get different folks come in and give presentations or give updates, provide updates on different pieces that are going on in the ecosystem. I linked the invite to these Discord calls. They happen every Tuesday at 2 p.m. CET. And I believe they're just on Discord, so there's no video recorded, but the audio, I believe, is recorded too. So yeah, just wanted to call that out. I found them to be kind of helpful. I saw Cap on there today, and I saw Cap had sent me a message right before this call that I didn't get to read, but yeah, just wanted to call those out in case anybody was interested in joining those too. Yeah, and then the next thing is just to save the date. For those of you who are planning to be in Denver in a few short weeks, coming up really quickly, we are planning another delegate meetup similar to the one that we did in Bangkok. If you were in attendance there, this one will be bigger though. Like we'll have just capacity wise more space, so we'll be able to have also accommodate for more delegates. And also it will be a little bit longer. So it will be similar format to what we did in Bangkok, but we'll also have some extended time to offer just time and space for you folks, for delegates to just hang out or maybe jam together on proposals. We can do some workshopping, proposal workshopping, etc. The details are still being clarified, but yeah, the date is already set. We have a venue booked. It will be on Thursday, February 27th, likely in the afternoon. And then if you cannot make that, we understand these weeks are busy. We're also, in addition, right after the meetup, we're doing a little happy hour for delegates as well. So I'll be sharing links, like sign up links and stuff for that as well over the coming weeks, like 2 weeks or so, within definitely like next week sometime. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. We hope we can see all of you folks there. Really excited to do something like this again. Was a really good time in Bangkok. And then the last update, or kind of FYI, I guess I have, is just the governance team will be at a team offsite this week. So starting tomorrow through Friday, we'll be at a team offsite, and our bandwidth will be a lot more constricted. So please have some patience and grace with us. If you have any questions or requests over the coming days, we'll try to get to it as soon as possible, or just let us know if it's urgent and we can try to help. Yeah, so that is all I had. If anybody else had anything.
Yeah, I was just gonna note, so I got a note today that there may be that ML team and investors are looking at delegations again. So last time that people looked at delegations was the investors in the ML team looked at it was probably in October, I think, last year. So it's been almost 6 months. So anyways, you just might start seeing some changes. So just FYI, I don't know the exact changes, but I did get a heads up, so we would know that it was happening.
Yeah, thanks for the there. Yeah, Joe?
Yeah, Rafa, could you provide a little bit more detail or context behind that process? Why does it happen?
So, so there's a couple of things that happen at the same time. So ZKsync is maybe a little bit special in the fact that we have the association structure, and we basically have we working with the Austrian regulator. So a lot of there's a couple of investors, or we've spoken to them to present their ability to participate in governance, and some of them feel comfortable doing that. The other thing that's kind of happening is, so that's kind of like from the investors. And the other thing is that ZKsync, even if your tokens are locked, if they're vested, you have a right to participate in governance. So it could be that, there's some ZKsync partners who have like a token grant or something, that, they're participating in governance too. So that also has a part of that. And also ML team members are kind of invited, because they have vested tokens, the ones who have vested tokens anyways. I know that from the Matter Labs team, the people ops side, they do a survey and say, hey, would you like to delegate your tokens to anyone? So the entire team, obviously this doesn't happen like every week, but it kind of happens in batches because of like how the operations work. So, we had talked back in October that they would probably do like twice a year or 3 times a year, kind of this survey about, do you want to change your delegate? Who do you want to change it to? So that's kind of what we know. And if ML is doing it and it's the beginning of the year and governance has been running for 6 months, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like some fluctuations in the delegations.
Perfect. And it's nice that there is that flexibility and those fluctuations can happen, because then delegation can be a bit more responsive to delegate activity, which I know is a big issue.
That's right. And like, from our team perspective, we've been really trying to encourage it. Like, hey, like run the survey. Like, do you want to change your delegate? Because it's very easy to kind of delegate and forget. And so, I mean, even the staking proposal that I think Tally has been working on is a good example of like trying to introduce entropy into the system. Because the more entropy that we have in kind of governance activity, usually it's kind of like settling. I don't know if you've ever like a jar with a bunch of balls and you kind of shake it up and like it settles a little bit better. And I feel like that really helps. And we do, I know that from the ML side, investors are also made aware, hey, you can delegate your tokens. And yeah, that I'm sure that happens too. Again, our quorum is also very high. So I'm really glad that people delegate and participate.
Wonderful. Anything else? I know some of you folks joined a little bit later. You missed the main party, the live party, but you can watch the recording. There was a cool CappedMinter V2 presentation I recommend watching. Great. Okay, if there's nothing else, Joe.
Yes. One other question that I've been noodling on since last week is relating to the Aave airdrop claim. We asked some questions about what activity had happened prior to the claim expiring. And we didn't hear back on the call. We've not heard back 7 days later on the comments. And I don't know if any of
Which one is it? Sorry.
This Aave DAO airdrop claim extension request.
Oh, you haven't gotten a response from them?
No.
Okay, I'll ping them because they asked me about the CappedMinter V2 setup. So I've got them on Telegram and I'll ask them.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I remember in the call, just because I remember writing it in the notes, they had mentioned that, or Christoph had mentioned that the kind of timeline for the governance proposal, but that was the main detail that was shared. And if I don't know what specifics you were asking for there, Joe, but we can follow up with that.
Cool. Yeah, it was just a principle thing. I'm generally in favor of that as a proposal, but it would be a struggle to vote for with outstanding questions left unaddressed.
That's a great question. Okay. Then, if there's nothing else, I will ask you one more time to go vote, if you haven't, on all four, or wait half an hour. Wait half an hour and go vote on all four proposals that have an open voting window right now. And we can close it here if there's nothing else. Thanks, guys. Oh, Bernard, hello.
Please come by to the Catalyst call tomorrow, Wednesday. I think slightly similar time, half an hour earlier. We'd love to run all of you through the proposal, some last minor tweaks, because we're also eyeing to get this on-chain soon when we have collected enough feedback and had enough eyeballs on it. So yeah, we'd love to see you guys there, and thanks for your time.
Awesome. Okay, folks, then we will close it here. Thanks everyone for joining, and yeah, maybe see you on the Catalyst call tomorrow. Bye, guys.